Hi everyone. For this week, I'm going to be talking about the basics of just transition and its effect on Indigenous communities. So, according to the Climate Justice Alliance, just transition is talking about the shift from dirty energy like fossil fuels to an economy that runs on clean energy, and making sure that shift is equitable and protects workers and communities that depended on these old ways of getting energy for their livelihood, and making sure that's an equitable process. So the biggest thing with this is that making sure this shift it does not negatively impact like the frontline communities. So people who have blue collar jobs in fossil fuels and things like that, who their livelihood depends on their jobs that are related to these old forms of energy, receive like job training so that if their positions are eliminated, when they transition to clean energy, that they can ensure they still can have jobs in that field. It's just that they should be trained for free to do these new jobs so they can continue to have their livelihood, and so that the impact is not negatively disproportionate to those communities. So Indigenous communities are communities that are historically dependent on coal and carbon emissions for their economies. That is very much related to colonialism. So the biggest thing with those is that when these energy things like fossil fuels and carbon emissions, those take place, like fracking, are on indigenous lands. So because when they colonized America, these lands were used for fracking, taken, or even when they were given back, their value came from the oil industry. These indigenous people who are on these reservations became dependent on that industry for their own well-being and their economy, and essentially their well-being is, and the community's well-being, their tribe's well-being, is like really resting on this pillar of this model of economy. So a big part of just transition in regards to Native Americans is seeing that this job training and even financial reparations is seen as like reparations for colonialism. So it's very obvious that colonialism has done irreparable damage to indigenous communities. So when we go to change to clean energy, there are different ways to clean energy that require land. So if they were getting energy from these indigenous people's lands, if they're going to switch their energy, and it requires land or resources from Native Americans, that they have the final say in what goes on. So instead of America coming in and saying like, hey, we're going to switch to this form of energy and we need your land and your resources to do that, they have to have like the final say, and be treated as a sovereign nation, which they are, but unfortunately they have not been treated that way for centuries. And another part of that is making sure that their economy can be diversified. Like I said, there are a lot of communities, Native American communities, that rest on like carbon emissions and carbon fuels, really rest on that, and like their whole economy is built around it. So that's where the American government can come in and help them diversify their economy, help them have different streams of income. So while that may not be exactly related to the emissions or the takeover to clean energy, it really is related because it's acting as reparations. Like, we did this to you guys, that our actions made you guys be completely dependent on carbon energy. So as reparations, here's how we're gonna fix that. So even if your economy changes to be resting on clean energy, you have some other options for resources and income. So if something else were to happen, your whole economy wouldn't collapse just based on a change in one industry.